So far, we have reviewed 3 of the 4 main operations in arithmetic: addition, subtraction, and multiplication. Today we will look at the 4th operation, division, starting with basic concepts of division and review long division with integers. Next we will look at some properties of division, followed by a review of dividing fractions and decimals. As usual, a little bit of vocabulary to start. The dividend, well, that's the number being divided or shared. The divisor is the number of ways the dividend needs to be shared or grouped. And the quotient is the result or answer when we divide. So let's look at 15 divided by 3. And we can write this in a variety of ways. So here we have the standard division sign, 15 divided by 3. Next we have the standard long division, using this long division bar. And finally we have it written as a fraction. In this case, the numerator is the dividend, and the denominator is the divisor. It's the number of groups being made. So our goal here is to divide 15 dogs into 3 groups, and each group has to have the same number of dogs. In this case, it's 5 dogs in each group. So 15 divided by 3 is 5. Now let's look at 15 pies. And in this case, we're going to group them into 4s. So each of these 4 groups will have the same number of pies. Well, if we pass those around, we can get 3 pies into each group. That's 12 pies. And that leaves us with a remainder of 3 pies. Well, since we're dividing by 4, let's go ahead and divide each of these pies 4 times. So we're going to take each pie and split it into 4 equal pieces. And then we will regroup those pieces into 4 groups. And then add each one of those to the main groups, giving us 3 3/4 pies in each of the groups. So 15 divided by 4 is 3.75. Now let's review long division. So we have 17 divided by 5. So 17 is the dividend. So that's inside that long division bar. And then that's 5. So we go, well, 5 doesn't go into 1. But 5 does go into 17 3 times. 3 times 5 is 15. We subtract this. 17 minus 15 is 2. And then this is the end of 17, so I'm going to put a little decimal point right here. There's a 0 here. Bring this down. 5 goes into 24 times. 5 times 4 is 20. We subtract that. We now have that remainder of 0. So 17 divided by 5 is 3.4. Now we have 162 divided by 12. So we have 162 inside the long division bar, 12 on the outside. 12 does not go into 1. 12 does go into 16 one time. 12. 16 minus 12 is 4. Then we'll bring down the 2. Well, we got 12 times 3 is 36. 12 times 4 is 48. So this will be 3. So 36. Remain this subtraction, that's 6. A decimal point here. Bring down that 0. And then 12 goes into 65 times. 12 times 5 is 60. And we have 0. So the answer is 13.5. And this is likely how you did division in elementary school. But let's look at the definition of division. So if A and B are any numbers such that B is not equal to 0, so the number on the bottom, the divisor, or the denominator, cannot be 0. The quotient, the answer of A divided by B, is defined as A times the reciprocal of B. So when we divide a number, we are multiplying by its reciprocal. And that makes multiplication and division inverse operations. We talked about inverse operations when we looked at addition and subtraction. Addition and subtraction are also inverse operations. They undo each other. Since multiplication and division are inverse operations, and we can convert division into multiplication by multiplying by the reciprocal, characteristics of multiplication are going to carry over. So when we were multiplying two numbers, if the numbers had the same sign, then the product was positive. If the signs were different, the result would be negative. So converting these two examples to multiplication, I would have negative 70 times 1 over 10. The reciprocal of 10 is 1 over 10. So I have a negative times a positive. So the answer here will be negative. The signs are different. On the second one, I have negative 90 times negative 1 over 6. Negative times a negative. Signs are the same, so this will be positive. Let's continue with these. So negative 70 times 1, well, that's negative 70 over 10. And then we could rewrite this as negative 7 times 10. I'm factoring these out. The 10s will cancel, leaving us with negative 7. Now we have negative 90 times negative 1. That's positive. Negative times negative is a positive. So that's 90 over 6. Now, how to factor this is a little less obvious. A couple different ways we can do this. One way is we can go 3 times 30 all over 6. And then that becomes 3 times 5 times 6 all over 6. This cancels out. Leaves us with 3 times 5, which is equal to 15. So we have converted division into a fraction, and then we simplify down our fractions. Hopefully by now you've gotten your times tables memorized, at least to 12 times 12. If not, keep working on those. And ideally, some of these numbers may look familiar. Well, 96 is on there. 96 is 12 times 8. 132 is also on there. 132 is 12 times 11. So it may be possible by knowing your times tables and the fact that multiplication and division are inverse operations, we may be able to find these answers, find the quotients, even faster than converting them into fractions. Again, in this case, 96 is our dividend. Well, we can say that 96 is equal to 12 times what? Well, based on the table, 96 was 12 times 8. So 96 is equal to 12 times 8. So 96 divided by 12 is equal to 8. Our knowledge, our familiarity of the times table is facilitating our division. In this case, we have 132. Well, that's equal to 12 times 11. So 132 divided by 11 is equal to 12. Now in this case, we're dividing by negative 11. So in order for a negative 11 to be equal to a positive 132, this would have to be negative 12. So both of these are going to be a negative number. Now let's look at a rate of change problem. So we have a hiker that descends. And again, descend means going down. He's getting lower. He's going lower in elevation. He descends 1,200 feet in 40 minutes. What was the hiker's change in elevation per minute? So you want, your ultimate answer is going to be a change in elevation, which is feet per minute. That's what the answer is going to look like. It's going to be some number, feet per minute. So he descended 1,200 feet. So I'll go ahead and put the negative to imply we're decreasing in elevation. And that is 1,200 feet in 40 minutes. So this math is negative 1,200 divided by 40. So that's the math we're doing. I will go ahead and just simplify fractions. So we have negative 1,200 divided by 40. This is 12 times 100 all over 4 times 10. We can further simplify this down. 12 is 3 times 4. And 100 is 10 times 10. And this is 4 times 10. So this 4 cancels out. These 10s cancel out. That leaves us with 3 times 10, which is equal to 30. And so our answer is 30 feet per minute. And this is negative. Bring this negative over so we don't lose it. See how easy it is to lose that negative sign sometimes? So our answer is negative 30 feet per minute. Or we can say descends 30 feet per minute. A great way to learn is to practice on your own. We will discuss in a bit, but go ahead and pause your screen and do these 4 problems. So for the first 2 problems, I converted the division into multiplication. Again, division is multiplication by the reciprocal. So 32 divided by negative 8 becomes 32 times negative 1/8. And then this simplifies down to negative 4. And then negative 600 divided by negative 15 becomes negative 600 times negative 1 over 15, that reciprocal. And that simplifies down to 40. Always a good habit when multiplying and dividing numbers to check the signs. So for this first one, we have a positive 32 and a negative 8. Signs are different, so the answer should be negative. And for the second one, we have negative 600 and negative 15. Signs are the same. They're both negative, so it should be positive. For this third one, I went ahead and used long division to get a decimal answer. Much more difficult that way. But if we convert this to a fraction, it is negative 99 divided by 8. We can look at some type of factoring. That's going to be 3 times 3 times 11. One of those being negative. And this is 2 times 2 times 2. So this will not simplify down any further. So the answer is negative 99 over 8. So I went ahead and did long division to get it into decimal form. But these 2 answers are equivalent. And depending on whether you want or need the answer as a fraction or a decimal. And then finally, we have a gardener buys 100 tulip bulbs for $67. What was the cost per tulip bulb? This goes similar to our hiker descending. We have a cost of something divided by the number of things we purchased. In this case, we purchased 100 bulbs. The math we are doing is 67 divided by 100. And I went ahead and showed the long division. But dividing by 100 is a simple pattern. When we do divide by 100, so this is 67, what we're doing is we're moving the decimal place 2 spaces to the left. So it becomes 0.67. Dividing by 1,000 moves it 3 spaces to the left. So being able to quickly divide by 10, 100, 1,000, 10,000, and so on is a convenient skill to have. Keep practicing your division, and I will see you in the next video.